Whew. Been cutting it close lately with these. Freaking early, you guys. Why is it so early? Oh, good gracious. Oh. I'm gonna do my best not to bitch about the chair this morning, since I seem to do that every live. I'm gonna get these daggers cord wrapped up first, and then I got some Maori daggers to cord wrap. I've got a little pahoa here we're gonna put a wrist loop in. Then I got some escrima sticks to do. I got some stuff back there I gotta wipe down. Whew, trying to be energetic this morning is not happening. So early. Towards the back. If you're gonna do it this way, you want your knot towards the back of the handle, not the front. I'm gonna show off. I got a new battle bat finished this week. I'll show that off during the show and tell after I'm done with all my finishing work. I gotta send it off to the customer tomorrow. These daggers, I'm honestly not even sure if I'm going to sell them. I haven't impact tested these yet. It's a much longer design than what I normally do. I tried to give it a strong tip geometry, but I'm not sure the length is going to work. Kamaru is strong wood, but I don't know if it's strong enough to hold up at this length to stabbing. So we're gonna see, or I'm gonna see. I normally don't live stream my impact tests. Because sometimes things break and they're supposed to. That I don't sell them if they break. I go back to the drawing board, figure out why they broke, and make a better one. Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome. What's everybody up to this morning? Aside from watching a chubby middle-aged man cord wrap the handles on a pair of wood daggers. Boy, I made these handles long. Got a bunch of stuff to get done today. I'm gonna try to get through it as fast as possible though, because I have other stuff I gotta do. I got so many orders I gotta get shipped off. I finished a few customs this weekend. And then I had for some reason I had a rush on stuff in my eBay shop. I sold out of machete wasters again, so looks like I'm gonna be making more of those this week. Very rarely sell out of those, but I only had 2 made into my inventory, and somebody bought both of them, so I'm gonna make 3 more. Also, I'm almost sold out of hickory daggers, and I am out of that hickory that I used to make those daggers. And the vendor that I normally buy my blanks from for those daggers is completely out of stock, and she doesn't know if they're going to get more. So it looks like I'm switching to oak for those daggers, which is fine. Oak will do, but I think hickory looked a little nicer. But oak looks good too. Hey, what's up, Bubba? No, I'm not making a machete right now. I'll be making a machete this week. Machete waster. It's a wooden practice machete. I make practice weapons for martial arts people, buhurt, armored combat, kali, escrima, kenjutsu, kobudo, all that kind of stuff. Yeah, I make a lot of different kinds of practice weapons, and I also make props. I make custom zombie apocalypse battle bats. I make all kinds of stuff. But I have a machete waster that I make, and my machete waster sold out this week. So that means this next week I got to make more. So I don't keep a large amount of most items in my inventory. I usually only have 2 or 3 in stock at any given time. So when I sell out, I got to make more. I'm just one guy in a shop, so I can't really keep a super heavy inventory. I keep a fairly heavy one for a one-man operation, though. I've got about 170 items, somewhere in that range, I think, available in my shop. And that's just the stuff I can sell on eBay. I have a lot of stuff that I can't list on eBay that I have in stock that I've got to figure out where to sell it. War clubs and stuff like that I can't sell on eBay, but I've got a bunch of them in stock because I made some before I found out eBay won't let you sell war clubs unless they're directly from an indigenous maker, and I am not an indigenous maker, so I'm not going to pretend to be. Yes, I do make them from scratch. What would I do? Everything in my shop I make from scratch. I start with a blank piece of wood, and I shape them out. Then I hand sand them. All of my wasters and bokken get hand sanded. They get a double tung oil treatment, and they are all guaranteed against breakage for up to a year. All of the wasters and bokken in my shop are guaranteed against breaking under normal use for up to a year. If they're made out of stronger woods like kamaru or ipe, they're guaranteed against breakage for up to 5 years. What that means is that if you're using it, and what I mean by using it is I mean using it for sparring, using it against a properly padded practice dummy. You know, if you go ham on a telephone pole, that doesn't really count. But all you got to do is send me a photo, tell me how it broke, so I can figure out if it was an issue with like the wood grain configuration or if it's a flaw in the design. And I send you a replacement. You don't have to return the old one. I'm probably the only shop you're going to find who guarantees their practice weapons. Is what hard? Making them? I mean, I've been doing it for a while. It gets easier. Usually when I'm making something the first time's always the doozy, right? So I make custom wasters for guys that are in armored combat and buhurt, and, you know, they want wood replicas of their competition weapons. Usually the first time I have to make one, it's a little difficult, but after the first or second one, I usually have a process in place that speeds things up. It's not easy, for sure. It's never easy, or everyone would be doing it, but I do all right. It's difficult, but once I get a process down, it's usually not as hard. to get done. Like wood daggers, for example, it used to take me quite a long time to make wooden daggers of any design. And these days I've made so many wooden daggers that it doesn't take me long at all. The longest part, the most difficult part is the sanding, to be honest with you. Do I make the stuff for the Army? No, I don't make things for the Army. No, I don't have any defense contracts at this time. No. I don't know that the Army would have a whole lot of need for my stuff, but I make practice knives. I have one particular type of practice knife that oddly enough never really sells, but it's a good design, that you can chalk the blade so that when you do it, you can see with the chalk where you would have been cut if you're practicing with it for self-defense. I think I've only got one of those in stock because they just don't sell for some reason. I'm not sure why. They're nice, they work, they do what they're supposed to do, but they just don't sell very often. I think a lot of people are over the chalk blade thing, you know, because it does, you know, so it can stain up clothes and stuff like that. I think, you know, if you're wearing a white karate uniform, it's probably not the best thing to be using, but all right. There we go. Now we got a set of Kumaru daggers. Kumaru, by the way, I know these look thin, and they are. Kumaru is extremely strong wood. It has a Jenka hardness of 3,200 to 3,700 pound force, which is why these things can be this thin and still work as stabbies. However, legally, I need to tell you guys, please don't do the stabby with my stuff. No committing of the crimes with my things. Do I like anime? Yeah, I do. Yeah. It depends. I don't have a lot of time for anime these days. I was a big Naruto fan back in the day. Naruto is probably my favorite anime of all time. Full Metal Alchemist, Brotherhood, and the original was fun, but Brotherhood's definitely way better. Right now, I'm watching Hajime no Ippo on Netflix, which is pretty awesome. It's a boxing anime. Really well done. Absolutely love that one. Paint anime on the daggers. I feel like I do that kind of stuff for custom orders mostly. Like I did, like for example, I just did a Kuromi themed barbed wire bat for a customer. I'm going to show that off after I'm done with all my finishing work here. And but I don't tend to draw or paint. That would add a lot of time and a lot of money to my items, and I try to keep my items cost effective. And most of my stuff's made to be functional, except for my cosplay items, but they aren't always. You know, I try to keep my cosplay items even as unspecific as possible, so that way people can modify them as they want to. All right, guys, give me 1 second. I gotta wipe down. I've got a bunch of stuff back here. They got its tongue oil treatments this morning, so I'm gonna wipe all that down. Just a second. All right. Made another hickory broadsword waster. It's got a second coat of tongue oil today. Just gonna buff it down a little bit to make sure that I don't get any bubbles in the tongue oil. And I'm almost sold out of my Shoto short sword bokken. I'm not sure why these sell as well as they do, but they do. It's my best selling bokken. It's a short 32-inch Shoto short sword bokken, but they seem to sell pretty well. They're probably my least expensive bokken. Maybe that's why. I don't know. So I had to make a couple more of these because I'm down to only one in my inventory. I try not to let myself sell out of items. If they get down to where I have one left or one or two left, I'll make more, but depending on how often they sell. Some items I only have one of. Because some items are one of a kinds. And this here is a custom order. This actually came out fairly nice. This is a rosewood mini war club. Little war club. It's got a tapered front end. Boom. It's a Polynesian design. And I got a client out in Pennsylvania that ordered this as a custom. So it's got its second coat of tung oil today, and it'll get shipped out to them tomorrow. Don't do that. I'm almost knocking stuff over here, old man. And then I had a cut off piece of rosewood that I made this one-of-a-kind stake out of. That's going to go up on the shop. My one-of-a-kind and limited edition stakes all come with certificates of authenticity. I make a limited amount of these each year. One-of-a-kinds, obviously, I only make one. I won't be making another one of these out of rosewood. This will be the only one I ever make of this exact type. And then I also make usually a limited edition series each year. I'm on the tail end of this year's series right now, getting ready to probably post those later today. And these are my 2026 design for limited edition stakes. This is Ipe wood, really strong, really beautiful stuff. It's got a bellied handle, a pommel, and a conical tip. Last year I did Palfaro wood with a spiral grind handle and a bladed tip. Decided to go a little simpler this year since I was going to make a bunch more of them. Each of these come with a certificate of authenticity, and it also has a serial number that tells you which in the series it is, because I sell them in the order that I made them. So you get a serial number that tells you which in the series it is that you own. So far I've made 8. I usually list them as soon as I've made at least 8 of them. I'm going to make possibly 13. I don't know. I haven't decided. I may only make 2 more. I'm kind of getting tired of making these, to be honest with you. I've made 8 of them in a row over the last few weeks. I'm going to make 2 more this week. That'll give me 10. That'll probably be it. I am getting sick of making them. But those aren't up for sale yet. They'll be up for sale probably later today. 13, yeah, I just thought it'd be funny to do 13, but I don't know if I'm going to do 13 or not. We haven't decided yet. Hey, thanks for the likes, everybody. We'll see. It kind of depends on how I'm feeling with it. I haven't really made up my mind. It depends. After I've done 9 and 10, I'll decide if I'm going to do 3 more or not. Whew. All right, I got some pretty cool stuff here we're going to work on. Hey, what's up, Decoding? What's going on? Welcome. This is a Pahoa dagger. The Polynesians, mostly the Hawaiians, they have different types of these. I have one style of Pahoa that's already on sale, for sale on my shop. This was originally a custom order for a client that wanted a museum replica of this double-ended Pahoa that has a hole in the middle on the one side for a wrist loop. So that way it loops around your wrist, and you can hold it in the middle, and you have a stabbing end on both sides. Unfortunately, the client that ordered this had a car accident last week. They're alive, don't worry, they're not dead. They had a car accident, which meant that their finances were a little more strained than they thought, so they had to cancel it. So this is going to go up for sale today as well. We're going to try a leather loop, because I think it's a little more authentic with leather than paracord. But the only leather I have is this leather strapping lace, which I'm not sure is going to work great as a wrist thong, but we're going to try it. Wrist thong, that's a hard one to say. What's my name? I am Nathan, Decoding Connections. My full name is Nathan Robert Brown. I publish, I write books for Penguin Random House under that name. That is my name, Nathan Robert Brown. It's not hard to find. I've published about, God, how many now? 17 books? Well, it'll be 17 this year, I think. I think it's 17 this year. There we go. Now we got a Pahoa dagger with a leather wrist thong. This is also made of Kummeru wood. Like I said before, extremely strong stuff. 3,200 to 3,700 pound force resistance weight on this wood. It can take a beating. These kinds of tips, I have impact tested the shit out of Kummeru wood for my Pahoa daggers, and it holds up. This stuff is great for the stabby. It's excellent for the stabby. However, as I have to say, legally, do not do the stabby with my stuff, please. I don't want to end up on the news for that. Hey, nice to meet you too. What's up, Bubba? What's up, Decoding? Let's see. Speaking of stabby, so these are my Maori style daggers. They have more of a leaf style blade. They're Tongan and Maori used this style. First time I made this was for a custom order for a client. I get a lot of custom orders from clients that want, like they see a weapon type, an old weapon type in a museum or something, mostly wood stuff. They come to me and ask me to make replicas. So this was a Maori Tongan style of dagger. For some reason, these seem to sell better than my Pahoa, which I'm not sure why. I think people like that more. It's a little better designed for getting between ribs. My favorite dagger that I've ever made, I would say it's the Pahoa. I think that's the best design is the Pahoa dagger. But, you know, there's different types of Pahoa, but the beefy Pahoa with a tapered, palm tapered handle is probably my favorite. I have a few of those in stock. It also comes with like a hole in the bottom of the handle for a wrist loop. These Maori daggers sometimes also come with those, but I didn't do it on these. These are just going to get a natural jute cord handle wrap here. But I've made all kinds of daggers. I have like a medieval tapered blade, really extreme tapered blade style of dagger that I make. I mostly sell those as vampire hunter daggers. They're not super functional, except as a prop because the blade has such a heavy taper, but they look cool. They look cool as hell on camera, but if you were going to use them for the stabby, they'd probably only work once because the tips, because the taper is so extreme on them, the tips are a little fragile. But like I said, they look cool if you're wanting a cool, like looking dagger for a vampire hunter prop. They look really awesome. The shorter they are, the better they tend to hold up, those style of daggers. But I stain and distress those and give them a handle wrap so they look cool. Well, I think when it comes to like wooden daggers, believe it or not, wooden daggers is very common. Most people don't realize that there were a lot of indigenous cultures, especially between the Aborigines, the Polynesians, the Maori, the Tongan, all sorts of Native Americans. You know, when steel wasn't as common, and stone blades worked, but they had to be replaced because they would chip and break. So for a tertiary or secondary weapon, having what amounts to a wooden shiv was pretty common for most of those cultures. And wood will work great for the stabby. Obviously, it's not great for the cutty, but it's good for the stabby. Some of them are one and dones. You have other ones that can be used repeatedly, like the Pahoa, this Maori design, even like the Hasansins or Hashishins, also known as assassins. They had wood stilettos that they would use as one and dones, even though those stilettos could have been used repeatedly. Their wood stilettos weren't because they didn't have access to metal. They used wood stilettos because wood was very easy to dispose of compared to a metal dagger. The assassins tended to use daggers. That was their main, knives were their main thing. But if they needed to get in, get under the ribs with something, get out, and get rid of the weapon, they would use a wood stiletto instead of a dagger, because fire was very common at that time. So you could get in, put your stiletto up under the ribs of your target, walk away. The moment you pass by a fire, toss it in, it burns, and your murder weapon is gone. I make assassin stilettos as well. Those are also available in my shop. Those are made from Kumru wood as well. The ones that I have available. Where is my shop? I'm in Florida, South Florida. On the Gulf Coast of South Florida. That's where I am. I don't really have a storefront, like a brick and mortar storefront. I just have the shop where I work. Every now and then I do have people stop by. Very rarely, maybe once a year, somebody will stop by and want to look at my inventory in the shop, which is fine with me, because I have stuff that in my shop that I can't sell online. So at least hopefully Shopify, I might actually have my website back up this week. Shopify finally got in touch with me. I've got to reply to their email, and haven't had time to do that this weekend. So hopefully this week I can do that and get that figured out. But do not recommend Shopify if you're going to run an online shop. Shopify, it's great until you need help, and then there's a problem. Do I only work here? No, buddy. I have like 3 jobs. So during the week, the shop across the hall from mine, Artistic Illusions, I work there during the week. We do custom art for homes and custom home renovations. Stuff like countertops, murals. We do floors every now and then. Faux finishes, plaster work, stuff like that. Then I run this shop on the side. And then in my spare time, I work on books, mythology related books for Penguin Random House. Right now I'm working on a illustrated encyclopedia for readers 8 to 14 called The Unknown, or The Unexplained. I can't ever remember which one it is. It's kind of like an unsolved mysteries kind of thing. And we just finished the review process for that book. So hopefully that book will be coming out later this year. And no, I work constantly, to be honest with you there, Bubba. I work a lot. I work all the time. You would think I would have more money for as much as I work, but I don't. Yay, capitalism. How long have I been going live? I feel like at least a few months. I go live every Friday and Sunday. Originally it was every Saturday and Sunday, but I switched my Saturday lives to Friday afternoons. So, but yeah, I've been going live for probably a few months. Hasn't been that long, I don't think. Maybe it has. I honestly don't know. You have to go through my lives on my page and let me know, because I have no idea. It feels like a few months, but it might be longer, to be honest with you. I don't feel like I've been doing this that long. And no, when it comes to this shop, I don't really make a lot of money doing this. Mostly my goal for having this shop is for the shop to pay for itself. I'm not really looking to get rich off of this. I just really enjoy doing it. And selling my stuff is a way for me to have this hobby and not have to pay for it quite as much. But I was on Etsy originally, and I still used to sell quite a bit on Etsy, but Etsy, they cracked down on some stuff that I didn't realize was an issue for them. They have a policy against batons, and they kind of suddenly decided that escrima sticks counted as batons, and a bunch of shops, including mine, got caught up in that, and we all got busted with weapons violations for selling escrima sticks, which is ridiculous, because they claimed they were illegal batons, which they were not. And I'm pretty sure a bot was responsible for that. So a bunch of us got banned for life from Etsy. So at first I thought it was just me, but there were other shops there guys that I knew who ran shops, that they also got banned for selling stuff that previously wasn't considered a weapons violation on Etsy. But I think Etsy didn't really like the idea of people selling martial arts stuff or weaponry on their site. They're fine with knives and swords for some reason, but when it came to sticks and wooden daggers, they had issues. So sticks apparently was the thing that broke Etsy. They didn't want sticks, so that was their thing. So I moved over to eBay and my own website, but the shop has not been selling as well as it was on Etsy. On Etsy, I was selling a few grand a month, which was enough to pay for the shop, and I expanded to this big old shop. Then this year, the shop has not paid for itself because my sales kind of took a hit after I got off of Etsy. So I'm actually going to be moving to a new shop here pretty soon, probably in the next few months. Hopefully. They're showing this space to some other people, and as soon as I can get this rented off to someone else, I will be moving to another shop, which is it's going to be a shop inside of a shop. I'm renting a space from another shop that I know here in town, and that should cut my costs quite a bit, because I'm already, unfortunately, like today, I have a sale going on in February. I had a sale going on in February. I have to cancel that sale today. In that sale today, and I have to increase all of my prices by about $5 per item. Which, by the way, if you want to get items before I raise my prices, I would recommend going to my website or going to eBay and getting those now, because this afternoon I will be raising the price of just about everything in my shop by $5 or more, because shipping prices have gone way up in the last few months, and I am losing money on some things because the shipping has just gotten too expensive. All right, I got a set of pink escrima sticks. We're gonna put some black paracord on the ends here and get that figured out. There we go. That's somewhat. If you got any questions, shove those in the chat, and I will answer them as I can. Let me get my black paracord here. Oh, I've been sitting down too long. Oh, God, why am I so old? I got a big honking roll of black paracord here. All right, take it easy, Bubba. Thanks for hanging out with me. And let me get all the little kinks out of this. When it's on a spool like that, it tends to curl up on itself. So you got to make sure you get that out before you start doing your cord wrap. All right. Oh yeah, I gotta get my. Hey, what's up, Teeny Tiny? How you doing? Welcome. I gotta get my adhesive ready here. I don't use adhesives on most of my cord wraps except on these escrima because it's got to be very tight for it to stay in place. We don't want this popping loose when the person is using it. Ugh. Glasses get in my way. Oh, what's everybody doing this morning? None of my regulars have shown up. I don't see Shozy or Kit Kat or Jackafe. They're probably in here. They're just not commenting. You guys in here lurking? And these are a new style of escrima. I have a set of Nightwing style escrima that I do that are black with blue, electric blue paracord. They're kind of fashioned to look like Nightwing's escrima sticks. But I had a few more pieces of rattan, and I've already got a lot of Nightwing sticks in stock. And I had an acquaintance tell me that she thought there would be a market for pink ones. So we're going to do pink escrima sticks with black paracord. These are basically painted rattan, or rattan. I'm not sure how that word is said, to be honest with you. But they're painted rattan and black paracord. And the glue doesn't really hold it on. The glue just helps me keep everything tight and in place, because for this type of a wrap, it's extremely important that everything stays absolutely tight. because this surface that I'm putting the paracord on doubles as both a gripping surface and as a striking surface. So it needs to be tight. All right, then when we get to the end here, we're going to cut off about a finger width, at about a finger width on both sides. Then I will melt off the ends and press them into place so that they stay put. And you have to kind of make sure that you wait a few seconds after you melt it so you don't burn the shit out of your thumb. Sometimes I pull that off, sometimes I don't. There we go. That's one side. Now we got to do the other side of this one and the other two sides of the other one. Again, we gotta roll out the kinks. And it's coming off of a spool, and when you spool it up like that, it tends to put little roll kinks in it. We don't kink shame here, but we don't want kinks in our paracord. And the reason I melt this off before I start is so that paracord works is kind of like it has an outer sleeve with a bunch of cords inside of it. And you want to make sure the cords inside don't shift around while you're doing this. So it's always good to melt off the end before you get started. And give it a little cut so that it's not all frayed up before you do that. And if you're wondering what this is just gelled cyanoacrylate, which is just a fancy word for super glue. It's not meant to hold it all in place. It's just meant to help it stay tight while I am doing the cord wrap. At both ends, that's where that's most important. And the paracord makes it easier to grip, and it gives you a more durable striking surface so that the escrima lasts longer. Plus, it just looks cool as shit. It also just looks cool. Ain't nothing wrong with that. One thing you do got to be careful of, though, when you're doing, if you're using super glue like this or cyanoacrylate, is you don't want to put too much on. You got to kind of spread it out so that otherwise it'll squeeze through in between the threads of paracord and will turn white and it looks kind of bleh. So you don't want that. So make sure you spread it out in an even kind of thin coat on the surface and don't just leave big globs of it. And this is natural rattan, so obviously it's not going to be perfectly straight because rattan doesn't grow perfectly straight all times. But I don't use super warped pieces of rattan in my shop. So If it's super warped, I'll cut it up and use it to make something else. I think I've tapped that enough. It should be okay. Yeah, there we go. And always put your cap back on, because this stuff dries out very quickly. And always remember to clean your tips afterwards. An rubbing alcohol wipe usually does a pretty good job. Oh, you guys are being quiet this morning. Everybody's still waking up? I know I am. Good God. It's freaking early, you guys. I'm on the East Coast. Those of you if you guys are on the West Coast, what are you doing up this early or late? I find that my West Coast people, if they come, they're either up insanely early because it's like 4:30 in the morning there when I go live, or they've been up all night. Most of the people who come to my Sunday finishing work lives tend to be on the East Coast or Central Time Zone or overseas. There we go. That's one down. Doesn't look too bad. What do you guys think? Eh? I think that's gonna look pretty good. Yeah, I like it. I'll make one set of these and see how they do, and if they do all right, I'll make another set. One more to go. And then, holy crap, will that be the end of my live today? I guess so. I had another set of Ninja Hanbo that I was going to cord wrap up, but it needs another coat of stain. So this may end up being a short Sunday finishing work, my peeps. See, that's why you gotta make sure you go through your cord before you start wrapping. Because if there are kinks in there, they will tighten up as you get to the end. And then next thing you know, you've got a knot or you've got a spot that's twisted that will look really weird in the wrap. And at a certain point, you just can't untwist anymore. So always untwist before you do it. Here we go. One thing I will do though after my live stream here, I finished a new custom battle bat this week. I had a Kuromi themed battle bat, barbed wire. It's pretty nice. It's got a lavender purple and plum pink paint job with a diamond pattern. We got a lavender suede handle wrap. It's got black barbed wire with gold barbs. Looks pretty freaking sweet. I'm actually pretty happy with how it came out. When I put the barbed wire on, I actually live streamed that earlier this week on Friday whenever I did the barbed wire. I think you can see the highlight on that on my reels. I do a lot of cursing when I put barbed wire on a bat. I apologize for that in advance. It's not an easy thing to do, and barbed wire does not like to cooperate, so. And if there's anything else that I make, like daggers or anything like that, that you guys want to see when I do my show and tell at the end, just let me know. And I will gladly go grab those and show them off. If you're interested in seeing any of the stuff I've got in the shop, I've got war clubs that I can no longer sell on eBay. So if you're interested in war clubs, let me know. I'd be happy to show off some war clubs. And if you're interested in custom orders, I now have openings for custom orders. I was closed for custom orders for a little bit there because I had like 4 custom orders going on all at once. So if you're interested in a custom order, I do have slots open for custom orders. So you can message me on Instagram at natrbrown37. That's NATRBROWN 37 on Instagram. That's also my Gmail address, NATRBROWN37 at Gmail. natrbrown37 at Gmail. Or you can hit me up here on YouTube if you're able to. Just go into the comments, let me know what you're looking for. Or if you go to eBay, go to my shop on eBay, go to one of my listings. There's always a button that says message seller on listings. Just go there, find one of my listings, send me a message, tell me what you're wanting to make, and I'll let you know whether or not I can do it for you, first of all. And if I can, I'll give you an estimate. I usually give a range estimate of the least possibly expensive it will be and the most expensive it will be. I do not ever charge more than what's at the top range of that estimate. So even if I screw up and it means I end up paying more, that's fine. Probably not the best way to do business for me, but I think it's an honest way to do business. So that's important to me. But yeah, I am willing to take custom orders right now. And able to take custom orders right now. I've only got one custom order that's still in progress, and unfortunately that one's going to remain in progress for a while because I need my bandsaw to do it, and my bandsaw has been broken for about a month or two, and I am not able to get it fixed right now. So unfortunately that one's gonna have to sit for a minute. That's a Rosewood War Club. It's a Native American rifle stock style war club with a slight difference to it. But that one is gonna have to wait for a minute. Unfortunately, I feel bad. The customer's been waiting since like Christmas time for me to get this done, and I feel horrible that I haven't been able to, but he wants teeth cut into it, and I just won't be able to do that without a bandsaw. Rosewood is extremely dense stuff. I would have to hand saw that in. It would take so long to do that. And sanding it would be even harder. So until I can get that figured out, between that and me between making other orders and getting my shop ready to move, I do not have time to deal with the bandsaw. And it sucks because I really want to get that done. So what happened, Troublemaker? Thanks for the question. On the bandsaw was, we had another guy that was in the shop a few months back around the time I was working on this custom order, and he wanted to cut some like cookies out of like a small, like some cookie slices out of like a probably about a 4 foot wide, you know, piece of wood that he cut off from a tree that he had gotten. And I don't know what he was doing, but apparently he twisted it, and it's an older bandsaw. And so not only did it take the saw blade off track, it threw a bunch of bearings at the same time. And so the bearings have to be replaced, and the bandsaw, the saw blade itself has to be replaced. That's the easy part. If I was just putting it back on track, I would be fine. But it's not. It's the bearings have to be replaced, and he screwed something else up in one of the wheels, and I can't figure out how he did it, but somehow the grip, the rubber grip on one of the pulley wheels that runs it has stripped off. So I've got to get that wheel replaced. Like I said, some of it I could do myself. I just don't have time right now. So it's basically just I need to replace the saw blade, I need to replace one of the wheels, and I need to replace the bearings on both wheels because somehow the bearings flew out of both wheels whenever it popped off. I don't know how, I don't know what he was doing. I don't know if he was twisting it as he was cutting. I don't know what he was doing, but whatever he did really screwed up the bandsaw. And it's not even my bandsaw. It is the shop that I work in's bandsaw, but my boss lets me use it. And he let somebody else borrow it, buddy of his, and he just he was making some Christmas ornaments, I guess, back around the holidays by cutting. It was like gifts for his family for the holidays. He was cutting cookie slices out of a piece of wood, and he was painting them. And apparently, he doesn't know how to use a bandsaw. So that was fun. That's pretty much what's happened with the bandsaw. And it's a very big bandsaw. Like I said, not my bandsaw, so it's an issue for me. My boss doesn't really use it very often, which is why he lets other people use it, because he doesn't really have much of a need for it. But he's like, I don't have the time or the money to put into fixing it unless you want to. And I said, okay, but it's going to take me a while. Because right now, like I said, the shop's not making a lot of money right now. So I do not have the time or the funds to get it fixed. I just need to get a guy over here to get it fixed. I have a guy to fix it. I just don't have a few $100 to have him come over and fix it. Nor do I have the time to sit here because I have to stay in the shop when he's here. I can't just let him stay here. My boss would have my head if I did that. So it's just stuff. I have so much stuff that's just, I have too much time. Oh, I know, dude. Focus. Absolutely. That was the issue. Like he's lucky that saw, when it popped off, he's lucky it didn't like smack him in the face because he wasn't wearing much. Yeah, I think that's what was happening, Troublemaker. It's a strong bandsaw. Like it's a big one. It's bolted to the floor of the shop. Like it is a gigantic bandsaw. So it had plenty of power. I think he was pushing too hard, or he twisted or something, because it wasn't a jigsaw blade. It was a big, he was using the wider blade, not the kind of scroll saw, like jigsaw style blade. And I think he was either pushing too hard or he twisted while he was doing it. Because those kind of blades, you shouldn't really twist real hard. You need a more narrow blade to do those. And I just don't think he wanted to switch the blade out, maybe. I don't know what he did, but whatever he did, he fucked it up. And I was literally at the tail end of this custom order. All I wanted was just to cut, because I got to cut teeth in the above and below part where there's a knife blade that's going to go into the striking end of the war club. And there's little serrated teeth in the wood on above and below it that the client wanted. It's a replica piece of a museum piece that he found. So I've got to, and he's pretty hard head set on those teeth. I told him, I'm like, I'm going to have to get this fixed before I can cut those teeth in. And he said he's willing to wait. I don't know if he's willing to wait much longer because it's been like 2 months. I feel bad about it because I almost never take this long. I never take this long. Not almost. I never take this long doing custom orders. 3 weeks is usually my max for a custom order. Unless it's something I'm doing on the side for somebody, like or if it's something super complex or something new that I haven't done before. Like right now, I'm making a set of con-safe prop Leonardo katana for a cosplayer group. They do old school, like the original live action Ninja Turtle cosplay at conventions. I've outfitted their whole group except for their Leonardo, so I'm trying to get these Leonardo katana done. I can show those off too during show and tell. They're not quite even close to done yet, but they will be. I've just got to cut the void in the Suba, fit them up, make sure everything fits. Paint the Suba, paint the end caps for the handle, foam wrap the handles, tape wrap the handles, put the Suba on, epoxy the Suba in place, epoxy the end cap in place, and then it'll all be done. See, easy peasy, super simple stuff. I've only got like 6, 7, 8 more steps to go on that, and it'll be good to go. That's the thing, though. When I'm making stuff out of wood, it always is so much faster than when I'm making stuff out of plastic and foam. Plastic and foam always requires assembly and painting, and cosplay pieces always take longer. The materials are less expensive usually, but the process is always longer. But usually, if it's a paid custom order, 3 weeks is about my max. For a custom battle bat, it's usually 2 to 3 weeks. The one I just did, the Kuromi bat, took a little longer than normal, only because she had a lot of custom stuff she wanted on there. I had to order custom paint for that because she had a very specific color scheme that she wanted. And I had to paint the barbed wire. I had to paint each individual barb of that barbed wire gold. Which is, by the way, is a real bitch. Painting barbs on barbed wire. Not the most exciting thing to do. All right, we're almost done for today. We can do some show and tell here in a bit. Just let me put this barbed wire up. I keep forgetting to cut a notch in that. All right, well, we're just gonna do this for now. There we go. Oh, I'm so old. Why does it hurt every time I stand up and sit down? Oh, yeah, there we go. Now we got a set of black and pink escrima sticks. I always impact test the ends. Make sure everything stays in place. Everything does. Whoop, whoop, we're good. Woot, woot. All right, let me put this stuff away in my finishing area here. I got these Maori daggers and this pahoa. All this stuff's going to go up on the shop later today. All right. Put some stuff up here. Clean up. I gotta clean up a little bit. I don't know if clean is really the word to use. It's more like just move stuff. My shop is never clean. My shop is always covered in sawdust and just debris and stuff that I cut off. Oh yeah, here's one thing I can show off. So these are the blade blanks for the Leonardo prop, Leonardo katana. The blades have been painted. They're about ready to go. The handles I need to get a Suba cut for the handles. The shape is cut. I just got to cut the voids so that it fits on these. Then I got to paint the Suba and the end caps, wrap these handles, and these should look pretty good on camera. And he can take these into the convention and won't have any issues with security. All right, you guys, what do you think? You want to see the new battle bat? Let me go grab that real quick. This is a fun one. This is a fun one, you guys. I'm through with this one. All right, here we go. So this is the Kuromi barbed wire battle bat. This is a custom order. She wanted velvet or suede, lavender suede handle wrap, lavender purple and plum pink diamond pattern paint job. She wanted black barbed wire with gold barbs, so I hand painted each barb on this barbed wire. That took a long time. Then I had to hand apply the barbed wire with gloves and a staple gun. It's got the Kuromi, waterproof Kuromi decals. The whole thing's been clear coated, so the stickers or decals will stay in place. But yeah, it's ready to go. Really psyched about this one, but I gotta send it off. This one's been bought. So it's going off to the customer tomorrow. I gotta wrap this and pack it up today. Tomorrow, it's getting shipped off to the customer. All right, let's talk about wood daggers. So I had somebody earlier ask me about wood daggers. And I make a lot of different kinds of wood daggers. So we're gonna go over some of these. I'll start with the ones that are the least functional and we'll work our way up. So these are my vampire hunter daggers. These are wood. They're stained. They've been scored on the sides so they look a little battle worn. They're cord wrapped. These are mostly for vampire hunter costumes. I mean, like they would stabby, but like I said, that taper is very extreme. That tip is only going to survive one stab, so make it count, right? And then I also have non-stained ones. These are hickory as well. These haven't been stained. These are just sanded and tongue oiled. So that if you want to just show the natural color of the wood, these can be modified to however the person wants to modify them. This is I want to say this is an Apache style of wooden dagger. This particular one, I think this one is coffee nut or butternut. I can't remember which. This is a larger one. Obviously a better blade geometry. It's got a bladed design. Blades on a wooden dagger cannot obviously cut, you know, like a knife, but when you hit the skin with a bladed piece of wood, it can split the skin and cause some, you know, soft tissue damage. But mostly for the stabby. That's an Apache design. This is a traditional Pahoa. This is I sell several different links and styles of this, but this is a museum replica. They have a palm taper in the handle so that when you grip it, it really pulls it into your hand. It makes it for a very firm grip, and it has the wrist loop here on the bottom. These are awesome. This is Kumaru wood, 3,200 to 3,700 pound force. These, I have impact tested the tips on these. These can take a beating. The tips on these are awesome. They are great. This is also Kumaru wood. This is just a straight up normal dagger. I have a set of 2 of these that are already up on the shop. This is a regular dagger. I have several different Kumaru dagger styles that I've made in recent weeks. Earlier, I was talking about the assassin or Hassansin or Hashishin, depending on what historian you listen to. Stilettos. These are the stilettos. These are also made from Kumru. I sell these individually because it's almost impossible to get them uniform, because I use cutoffs to make these. So mostly it's different lengths, different widths, but all of them are functional. But these were great for like coming up under the ribs. Leave the area, toss this in a fire, it goes away, and the assassin disappears into the night. And this is not really any particular culture. This was a cutoff from another piece that I made. That I sell these as primitive daggers, and obviously vampire hunter knives or daggers. But I make a lot of different, these aren't even all the different styles of dagger that I make in my shop. I make a lot of different styles of wooden swords and daggers. Oh, you bet I tested the tip, Shoji. What's up, my guy? Welcome. Shoji, you showed up just in time for me to talk about testing the tip. Just the tip, though. Just the tip. But those are all of my wood dagger, not all of my wood daggers. That's a sampling of my wood daggers. I'm about to finish up for today, so if you guys got anything else you want to see, let me know. I'm gonna go put these up, but if you got anything else in my inventory you want to take a look at, let me know. I'll go see if there's anything else I want to show off this morning. All right, let me show. I got a couple things that are selling on eBay, and a couple things I can't sell on eBay. So this is a prop kukri knife. It's been distressed, so it looks like it's been battle used. It's got a paracord handle. Looks really good on camera. All plastic. Nothing dangerous here at all. Perfectly safe. Looks good on camera. So if you need a kukri prop, I've got one there for you. Yeah, I hope your Sunday's good too, Shozi. This is a replica of a cross stake from a 19th century vampire hunter kit. I first made one of these for a client who found a vampire hunter kit. It was on auction. It sold for a lot more than she was willing to pay, so she sent me some pictures of the stakes, and I made replicas for her. I really liked the design, so I kept making these. And then this is the stuff I can't sell on eBay. This is an Ipe War Club. It's a Tongan style. It's got the tapered ends and a nice, it's very, very sturdy. This Ipe wood is really, really strong stuff. This is probably my favorite war club that I have made, this one right here. Unfortunately, I can't sell it on eBay, so if you're interested in it, let me know. I will make you a deal on that. Same with this one. This is Polynesian. This is a larger style of the mini one that I was doing earlier, that I was wiping down earlier. Only this one has tiger shark teeth in it. But it's a rosewood. It's got a nice little handle. It's a very beefy guy. It's still pretty well balanced for as big as it is. But it's a very, very, very sturdy war club. It's got tiger shark teeth. Really enjoyed making this one. I was so sad when eBay told me I couldn't sell it, but oh well, not worth it. Is what stapled? This? Yes. Yeah, so the wood in this, the original one had some kind of staples in it. I don't know exactly what kinds of staples, but these are glued in place with epoxy and they're held in place with metal staples. You know, these crossbars, you just want to make sure they stay in place. But I think it looks good. And then it's handle wrapped, and then it's all, I just stress all of it so it looks a little dirty. But yep, it is stapled in place. It is stapled and glued, so you get a double fit there. All right, you guys, I'm gonna put this stuff up. If you got anything you want to see, let me know. Otherwise, we're gonna wrap it up for today. I gotta go home and put all this stuff on the shop for sale, and I gotta end my current sale, raise all my prices. So I'm about to tell you guys something I probably shouldn't tell you, which is do not buy anything on my shop today. Probably not a great idea, because I have a sale going on right now for 10% off. That's going to end today. I have to raise all my prices across the board about $5 per item. Those prices are going to get raised unless you can buy them before I get home today. You're more than welcome to do that. But I got to raise all my prices by about $5 an item because my shipping costs have gone up on average by about $5 an item. So I have to do that. However, the good news is I will still be doing a 20% off sale in March. So after I raise all of my prices, that will then immediately be taking 20% off. So you'll still get a good deal in March. March is usually my biggest sale of the year. I do 20% off in March. But unfortunately, because of my current sale at 10% off, I'm losing money because my shipping costs have gone up, and I don't charge shipping. I just include the average cost of shipping across the board on everything, which means sometimes I lose money on shipping, sometimes I don't. But right now I'm losing money on all the shipping, so I gotta increase my prices. But I'll increase my prices, but then by the end of today there will be a 20% off sale. So come back Monday, unless you want to buy something this morning, come back on Monday and everything should be good to go. Oh, it is a cool design. Yeah, thanks, Josie. Yeah, I love that design. It looks really cool. I used to have 5 of those. I only have 2 left. So those are, I'm probably going to have to make more soon. I'm definitely going to have to make more of them before spooky season gets here, because I haven't started my spooky season prep yet. That will be next month. March is when I start prepping for spooky season. I know it sounds crazy that I start prepping for Halloween in March for my shop, but Halloween is my shop's Christmas. Like, I sell costume props, I sell vampire steaks, like, you know, I sell a lot of horror movie theme related stuff. So a lot of that starts selling out around spooky season, so I have to beef up my inventory. So I'll be doing that. I will be beefing up my vampire steak inventory and my props. Like, I'm out of prop psi. I haven't had prop psi in stock for a while, so I have about 4 sets of prop psi that I've managed to get injection molded. They're rubber. Now I gotta paint them. I'll probably make 2 of the Raphael style and 2 of the Electra style. The Electra style, they get chrome paint because Electra's psi tend to be shinier, and a red, basically athletic tape handle wrap. They look great on camera. They are perfectly safe. You can get into cons with them. Same with my Raphael psi, my Ninja Turtle psi. Those are fashioned to look similar to what he had in the original live action movie. They're not exactly the same, but they're close enough. They look good on camera again, and they're perfectly safe to take to conventions. Security won't give you an issue with them. They're rubber. You can bend them around and show them that they're rubber. Won't cause any problems. Those get aluminum paint instead of chrome because Raphael's Sai are a little bit dingier looking. Every season is spooky season, right? I know. No, I know. My people, I sell vampire steaks year round, but spooky season is when it really blows up. So yeah, but all season is spooky season for me in my shop. I got a Nosferatu poster over here. I got a Beware of Vampires back here. Like, it's always Halloween in here. It's always Halloween in my soul. Yeah, I know. Well, the hard part for me, Shozy, is that like every Halloween there seems to be one style of steak that people seem to gravitate towards, and I never know what it's gonna be. So I try to beef up each different like design of steak that I have, if possible, especially my standard stuff, because I never know what's gonna sell out. So I try to get as many of those made as possible before spooky season starts. Some years it'll be one of my cheap ones that'll get a lot of attention. I'm expecting that this year just because of how the economy is. I think my cheaper steaks are going to be more popular. And then the more expensive steaks, I don't make nearly as many of, but I do want to have those in stock too. Some people want a high-end steak. I like to give candies to children. Suspicious. I don't know what we're talking about there, Crafty Carrot. I don't give candies to children unless they're my own. Thanks there. Thanks for making it weird there, Karen. Oh, good gracious. Anyway, you guys, I'm going to probably head out soon. You have Halloween in your heart? Yeah, that's right. Halloween in my soul. Oh, you bake for your children, but it's your nieces, right? You know what's, it is sad though, like the trick-or-treating thing, you know, I used to be all into that. Like, yeah, I'd put on a costume, I'd have a bowl out front. I love when trick-or-treaters came to the door. I don't think I've done that in like 20 years. It's been a long time since I've lived anywhere where there's trick-or-treaters. I live in a really nice, fairly nice neighborhood here in Florida, and we don't even have trick-or-treaters because most of my neighbors are old people. Eat a piece at a time. Yeah. I don't do that. I don't eat a piece at a time. I eat way too much. That's why you cannot let me be around candy. Like I struggle. Like I go back and forth from being pre-diabetic to not being pre-diabetic, and my doctor's always like, you need to not, like, he's like, you eat too much sugar, and I'm like, I know I do, but I love candy. My favorite two things that absolutely kill me on my sugar is one, I'm a donut. I love donuts. Donuts are like my favorite thing in the freaking world. I'm not supposed to eat them. And the other thing is lemon head sugar sticks. Lemon heads are amazing, but they're these lemon head sugar sticks that you can find. They're kind of old-timey sugar sticks, but they're lemon head flavored. And oh my God, they're amazing. But of course, they're just straight up sugar. You switch to fake sugar? Yeah, I've done that too. Like I don't drink sodas really anymore unless I just need caffeine, but that's very rare. I use like that water enhancer stuff that's sugar-free and calorie-free. Like I use that. So that kind of helps with my sweet tooth for the most part. So one thing to watch out for though, I bought sugar-free Reese's peanut butter cups recently. And I was like, awesome, they're sugar-free. I can eat as many of these as I want without screwing up with my blood sugar. I was wrong, by the way. I don't know what is in those sugar-free Reese's peanut butter cups, but I was on the toilet for a very long time. Do not recommend. Do not eat more than a couple of those sugar-free Reese's peanut butter cups. Or you're going to be having just cancel all your plans. If you eat Reese's peanut butter cups that are sugar-free, do not make plans for that day if you're going to eat a lot of them. It's not good. Oh, beer is made with sugar and yeast? Yeah, that's a good... Yeah, you know, that's the thing. Like, I don't really drink anymore, but back when I did, when I stopped drinking, I lost like 30 pounds because my main drink was tequila. I really like tequila. And tequila is just agave, which is a sweetener. Like, it's just straight up sugar. Definitely do not recommend tequila being your go-to hard stuff because, oh my God, man, it has got so many calories in it. But yeah, that's true, man. Like be very careful with sugar-free stuff. There's different things in sugar-free stuff, like I think it's called xylitol or something. Not xylitol. What is it called? There's some kind of a sweetener in stuff that if it's in there, like I think sugar-free gummy bears have it in there too, that will make your guts just evacuate everything. Yeah, it will kill your guts. Absolutely. Yeah, tequila does too, though. Tequila absolutely kills your gut. But apparently so do sugar-free Reese's peanut butter cups and sugar-free gummy bears. Be very careful with those. I don't. It's not saccharin. It's something else. I knew somebody that told me what it was once. It's a weird name, but whatever it is, it's poisonous to dogs. Whatever it is, it's toxic to dogs. It's okay for humans apparently, but if dogs eat it, they'll die. So you have to be careful around dogs, which I have a lot of dogs. So I don't really have that stuff around very often. I can't remember what it's called though. But yeah, that stuff will make you poop your brains out. So watch yourself. Ethanol, that might be. It might be like a glycol, of some kind, but I don't know. There's some kind of a ethylene glycol. That's antifreeze. Propylene glycol, I think, something like that. It's in my water enhancer stuff that I use to drink to kind of help with my sweet tooth. That stuff's always been fine for me, but the peanut butter cups, no, I wouldn't recommend that. It's okay for humans, right, Jacove? Hey, Jacove, welcome. All right, you guys, I am finishing up for today. Is anybody else got anything they want to see for show and tell before I head out? Let me know. And if not, we'll wrap it up. I appreciate you guys hanging out with me this morning. It's been fun. My shop's in a weird time, but I probably got at least one more month in this shop at least. So I'll be here for March, and then probably by April, I will be in another shop. We're hoping. We're going to see how that setup works, but I'm not looking forward to moving because my shop is so full of shit that I've got to figure out. Oh yeah, I've also got to cancel the Wi-Fi. I forgot about that. But yeah, I've got so much stuff I'm going to have to move or throw away before I leave this shop. It's gonna be interesting. I may have to get some help. Do I like woodworking? Yes, I do. Crafty Karen. I enjoy doing it. Most of my woodworking is weaponry related. Every now and then I'll make charcuterie boards and some other non-weapon stuff for craft fairs and things like that. But yeah, for the most part, most of my stuff's weapons related. But yeah, I love woodworking. That's kind of my whole thing. Mostly practice weaponry. That's my main thing, and the occasional stabby. Well, not the occasional. I make a lot of stabby, let's be honest. And then I make weird baseball bats. I make axe bats, barbed wire bats, machete bats, axe bats. I think I said axe bats twice. Axe bats, that's hard to say. I've made spike bats, nail bats. You name it. If you need a baseball bat to help you survive the zombie apocalypse, I can make one for you. You would like to make a bow? Bows I don't do. That's the one thing I draw the line at. The reason that I don't make bows is that bow making is a very, very specialized skill. I know guys that make bows. You really have to know what you're doing to make a bow properly. And there are a lot of guys out there who are very talented that do handmade bows. And they don't need me stepping into their space. Those guys there's nothing I could make as far as of an archery bow that would even compare to the stuff the guys that are already out there make. There are plenty of dudes out there making bows, and their stuff is awesome. They don't need me. So the bows are the one place I draw the line. I do occasionally make spearheads and arrowheads, usually out of bamboo or bone. I'm not making any right at the moment. I've got a bunch of new bamboo that will be seasoning over the next 3 months. And hopefully when because I'm out of thick enough bamboo, but when those are done, I'm going to make some freaking sweet arrowheads and spearheads out of the bamboo. Ramones. Oh yeah, and I also make vampire bats, which are basically baseball bats with a staked tip on them. I can show you guys a vampire bat real quick before I leave. I might as well. All right, that'll be the last thing, and then we're gonna wrap up. Let me show you guys what a vampire bat looks like. I've got a few in stock. These, I initially made these as a joke because I have a master's degree in English with a focus in world mythology, and I'm a sucker for puns. So I made vampire bats. They're basically baseball bats, so that you can hit the vampire and then you can stake the vampire. The first time I sold one of these, the guy, he sent me a picture. He was in like a New York Yankees baseball uniform with like blood spatter all over it, and he put blood spatter on the stake. It looked really cool. And I will do blood effects on these stakes. I'm actually thinking about doing that on one of these because I only have one of these listed on the shop. I've got 2 others made. I'm thinking about putting blood effects on those and selling those separately. But yeah, these are my vampire bats. Because I love a pun. And it will never stop being funny to me. But that's it for me today, you guys. Thank you for hanging out with me this Sunday morning for Sunday finishing work. Everything you see me work on will be on the shop later today. What I would recommend not buying anything until tomorrow as I have to raise my prices. Unless you want to get in there to like this morning. By about 1 o'clock this afternoon, I will start removing things or raising my prices. I have to stop the sale, raise all my prices. Probably by the end of the day, the new 20% off sale for March will go into effect. But I got to raise all my prices first, unfortunately, which I hate doing right before sale, but I have no choice. Because the Postal Service is charging insane amounts for shipping right now. It's like stuff that used to cost me $8 to $9 to ship is now costing me $14 to $16 to ship. And so it's just, which isn't a big deal for like big ticket stuff. Most of my big, like my more expensive things, the prices won't change. It's the cheaper stuff that I'm going to have to start, because when I sell something for 20 bucks, and it's $14 to ship, eBay takes, their cut of my $20 that I sell. So I end up getting like $16 total, and then it's 14 something to ship. So I get like $1, which does not cover my costs at all. So I've got to have to raise my prices for that stuff. I need to make a lot of my cheaper stuff. I need to make at least $5 to $10 to even cover my costs, not even make a profit. So like my Uwara, my smaller stakes, stuff like that. Anything that's in the $20 to $30 range is probably going to get a price increase of $5 today. So I apologize for that, but yeah, well, I know the sale is unnecessary, but you're still gonna get a better price. Like the full price of things, like the sale is necessary. Because I'm going to go back to full price after March. So I usually do March as my big sale because I find that the early birds for con season and stuff come in. But I will be going back to full price in April. In April, I tend to stay full price. May, I tend to stay full price. In June, I will have probably my next sale. So March is going to be a good time to buy stuff. But yeah, I've got a pretty big inventory right now. I just can't be losing money the way I am on stuff because of the shipping. It makes the sale obsolete, Jacob? Not really. Adding $5 to most of my stuff, because it's not just the small stuff that's on sale. The big stuff will be on sale too. And I'm not really changing the prices on the more expensive stuff. So it's only the smaller stuff that's going to have price increases. So there's a lot of stuff that's still going to be a way lower cost. Like I have stuff that's $200, $250. That stuff, the price isn't going to go up. 20% off on that's still going to be a significant discount. But no, it's just the smaller stuff for the most part, Jacob, that I'm raising prices on. Most of my big ticket items, $5 difference isn't that big of a deal. But at the same time, the smaller stuff is a bigger issue. So I promise you, Jacob, if it was unnecessary, I wouldn't be doing it. But I've got to raise my prices on my smaller stuff So yes, for the smaller stuff, it probably won't make a big difference, which does suck. But for my big ticket items like custom baseball bats, vampire bats, stuff like this, stuff that costs a little more, anything over $50 for the most part, I'm probably not going to be increasing my prices. So for that stuff, it will still be a significant discount for 20% off in March. Hey, what's up, Dave? How you doing? Welcome back, man. I'm just wrapping things up, getting ready to go. But I was just showing off some vampire bats, and I'm gonna go home. I gotta do laundry. I'm out of socks, you guys. I gotta do socks. I gotta wash my socks. And I gotta list all this new stuff on the shop. And I think I'm playing Helldivers with my kid this afternoon, and then maybe at some point I'll get to watch a bad movie. Dave's not here. Shows the Cheech and Chong references, man. I haven't heard that reference in forever. Dave's not here. With men in socks, I don't know, man. I have to wear them with my shoes. So, and I ran out, so they're all dirty, so I gotta wash them. I don't know if I should be wearing dirty socks for the next 2 weeks, so I should probably wash my socks. So I'm gonna go home, wash socks, play Helldivers, put stuff on the shop, raise all my prices, set up the sale, and hopefully at some point this afternoon or evening I'll get to watch a bad movie and post some clips to my Instagram of a bad movie, but we'll see. You wear croc nose socks, Dave? You are a freaking fashion icon, my guy. Crocs, no socks. No socks, no problems, right? Well, good. I wish I could do that, but my job, if I wore Crocs, no socks, my feet would be destroyed in my job. So I work around too many rusty metal and heavy objects for me to be wearing Crocs, no socks. All right, you guys, I'm out. Thanks again for hanging out with me for this week's Sunday finishing work. I will be, I post, just so you guys know, I post my finished works videos on Sundays. I post my new works in progress every Monday. Wednesdays, I post the projects that I actually got done that are ready for sanding. And then on Friday, I post the stuff that got sanded that's going to be painted or stained or oiled. And then I have a live stream Friday afternoons at 4:30 or 4 p.m. Eastern time for my Friday staining. And then on Sunday, I have my 7:30 a.m. Eastern time Sunday finishing work live. So that's pretty much my posting schedule. I don't really post much more than that. My eBay is Warrior Wood and Props. Dave, you can find, if you go to the links in my bio here on YouTube, you can find, just go to the eBay store link that's in my list of links on my YouTube bio. And that'll take you right to my store. My store is Warrior Wood and Props. It's the same name as my YouTube channel. You can find it. Don't go to warriorwoodandprops.com. It is not functional. I'm hoping to get that solved this week. I finally got a hold of Shopify support, and they're trying to help me via email, which is a pain in the ass. But hopefully this week or next week, I will have my actual website up and running so I can start selling the stuff I'm not allowed to sell on eBay again, which is what I have my website for, so I can sell stuff like my war clubs and just the crazy shit that's more or less not allowed on eBay. Hopefully, I can get that site up this week or next week. Warrior Wood and Props. Yep, that's it. That's the one, Dave. Just go to the eBay link in the links in my bio. I keep meaning to put links to my shop in my descriptions when I do videos, but I keep forgetting. Every now and then I remember, but I will try to go through and edit my videos and start putting links to my shop, my eBay shop, in my videos descriptions so you guys can find them. I can't remember if I put one in the description on this live or not. I might have. I can't remember. All right, you guys, I'm out of here. Thanks again for hanging out with me. Like I said, everything's on the shop. I will be back tomorrow morning for my works in progress video for the next week. Thanks, everybody. Have a great rest of your weekend. I'm out of here. Hey, thanks, Dave. Enjoy your day. Take